Hey, I'm Dan Whittaker. I'm here today to discuss and analyse the golf swing of Hunter Mahan. Also going to show some of the changes that Hunter's been working on with his coach Sean Foley in working at the synchronisation in the golf swing and other areas including the footwork. And now, in my opinion, Hunter's probably got one of the greatest swings on the tour at the moment. It's a very modern golf swing, very big muscle driven. Upper body controls and the pivot controls the backswing, and it's very core driven in the transition. Now, what we see is in the first move, we see a tremendous turning away of the body. We see the right hip and right shoulder turning away this way. What we also see is how the club head stays so beautifully outside the hands here. Now it's a very, very classic one-piece takeaway. So it's really in tremendous shape here, but the hip and the shoulder are turning away together. And the triangle of the upper arms, the upper body, the torso and the club are all still together. And the club is just reacting to this turn. And what we get from here is we see how he just makes a tremendous rotation going back. He gets some left wrist cop. We have a lot of left arm rotation with the right arm folding. The arms stay beautifully in front of the body, and when he gets to the top, when the left shoulder stops turning, the arms stop moving, and the club stops at the exact same moment. We also see a very neutral club face right here, as it's parallel to the left arm and also parallel to the shoulders. Now we can see this backswing taking shape from a few swings here. Here's another one with him with the iron from the Colonial. We see here how he's turning away in one piece. The butt of the club's working it in. Club head's classic outside the hands. Then he gets some left arm rotation, left wrist cocking, right elbows folding, and fully in sync at the top of the backswing with tremendous hip depth, whilst also keeping the flex in the right thigh. We'll have a look at this from the front view. And what we tend to see here is this is a slight side on front view, and we see here this tremendous one piece move away, club face staying looking at the ball. The right side's turning away. The left arm then rotates, right arm's folding. When the left shoulder stops, so too does the club and the hands and the arms. This is fully synced up, okay? And what we also see is via this one-piece move here, we see this right hip goes back. Now we take this to the start, which is right here. Draw a little line on the hip. And we see how deep that hip turns. That hip's turning back as the left hip is staying on the line it started on. This is a very deep turn. So the hips are turning back in a very deep manner, and he's turning into the right side, not over the right side. The left knee's then pulled in a little circle as the left shoulder is stretching across in this manner. And what we find then is some immense coil all the way down this left side, all the way down here, working down this lat, all the way down to the obliques in this area right here. Now, with this being so in sync, it's very difficult for him to mess the transition up. He got himself into such great shape. And what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at this from the front view, clear front view. Now what we again see is this tremendous one-piece move. Left shoulder stretching across the hips, stayed where it started. Flex is maintained in the right thigh. The right hips turn deep, and the golf swing is fully 100% synced up. Now we'll have a look at the transition that Hunter makes. What we see is he very much starts down from the ground up, and we know that this left foot begins to roll as this left knee rotates. this left hip moves across, and this left shoulder then roars away from the chin. We see it right here, how it all moves together. This whole left side moves, and the arms are brought down and then around. So he strikes the ball with tremendous leverage with the weight over the left side. And he got the right, as this left side had broken away, just created the secondary axis still as the head stayed still. The right shoulder's then moved down in this manner. The elbow's been pulled onto the hip where it acts as a fulcrum. It stays on the hip as he then unwinds around to a very extended finish. Okay, and the club is reacting to the body, so the body is controlling it. It's like 3 circles. The body is the inner circle, the outer circle is the hands, and the third circle is the club head, and these are all working together in unison and in sync. Okay, now one of his drills that he does a lot of work on is this wide to wide drill. Okay, now for all amateurs out here, this is a tremendous drill for you to take note of. Okay, I've seen him do it here at Augusta. I've also got footage of him doing it at the Byron Nelson Championship, and it's one of his signature drills. What he does is he turns back in one piece here, as you can see, and as he turns back, he's got the club set, but it's not fully loaded at the top. When the shoulder stops, the arm stops, and then he gets over the left side. And as he's turning, you can see that the arms are fully in sync with the body. And as he's coming through, we see a very passive club face right here. So the club's coming through on an arc like this. See how the club face is at 90 degrees to that arc here. And the ball is shooting off over here, as Hunter is just unwinding around with the entire body in this manner. Now, with the club reacting to this turn, this drill just keeps the arms fully synced up, and at the finish he finishes with the arms in front of the chest. Now for you guys who've got an impact ball, that's the idea of doing this drill with the impact ball, is the ball will go between your forearms, you'll go back and through, and this is helping to sync up the arms to the body. We see him here at the Byron Nelson game. We see how the body turns away in one piece, club head's outside the hands, classic move, but in, club head out. Club set, arms in front of the body, then it unwinding around, and the arms are reacting to the body once again as he's keeping everything fully synced up. What we then see is how he then also practices these ones called, I call 9 to finish. Okay, so what he does is he takes the club back to 9 o'clock where it's almost loaded, and then we see how he works at the body unwinding through and the arms reacting to the pivot, but this time he's allowing the club to fully release. So as he's releasing, we can see right in here how he has let the left wrist recut, the right arm extend, and the club fully release. Okay, but the arms are still in front of the body right in here. So we can see that this hasn't been there's been no hand manipulation in this. But this has been all unwind, and he gets the feeling of hitting these little 9 o'clock backswings to these full through finishes. Now we will see it him hitting these from this ahead view. Now what we see here is arms are fully in sync, elbows in front of the hip, which is clearly evidence from this view. We see the weight going across, left knee, left hip, left shoulder, and then he's fully releasing this here, but the hands are just reacting. The wrists aren't crossing over, the left wrist is just recupping and allowing him to come through to this full finish as he's just allowing the unwind of the body. My only criticism of this move would be from this rear view here, where we see he actually springs the shaft outwards a little bit, so it actually works out this way a tiny amount in the transition, which shows us that he's just not quite starting this move from the legs. He's starting it a little bit upper body and then springing the shaft back, then unwinding everything together. So, then getting everything moving forward, and then it's unwinding together. Whereas if he started from the left knee a little more aggressively, this elbow would then fall into the body a little more, and this club would just load on a little bit better. Okay, so you kind of just create a little bit of lag on this move. But through the golf ball, way over the left side here. So how much weight transfer we've got over this left pivot point, and how the club is just fully releasing through to this finish. But he's coaching himself to do this in these short drills. Okay, now, when we have to look at a golf swing here from Hunter when he was in his college days, we saw how the club used to get across the line and a bit long, a lot steeper than we see now. But what we used to see was this very spinny transition and this right foot coming off the ground very early and very aggressively. Okay, this had a spinny lower half, and the right side had to drop down a lot, and this right side was kind of, elbow was a little bit behind the hip and it was kind of hanging on a touch. Okay, even though he fully released this and absolutely killed it, his arms weren't quite as synced up, and in his own admission, he wasn't hitting the ball as long then as he does now. Now, what's quite interesting is when we have a look at what he'd been working at to help generate more power. What we see here is how he's worked at this foot action. We see here how from the top of the golf swing he's working at getting a weight transfer and how the right foot's going to roll across. So he's working at getting some pressure going forwards and was crushing the ball under the left side, on the left foot. And you can see how the right foot's rolling, the weight's going over the front foot, and the feet are reacting to the pivot, so the weight's going forwards and then it's going to go around. Now there's a misconception that in opening the golf swing that we just open straight from the top, and people forget about the footwork. How the feet work rolling across is very, very important. What we see Hunter practicing right here is actually very similar in terms of the footwork that we saw Ben Hogan have right here. How the feet roll across, the back foot rolls, which is very evident also in Padraig Harrington's golf swing, which means that the pivot's going forwards and then around, whereas when it spins too much, the foot tends to pop up on the toe, the right foot, even though the left heel will be on the ground and not up in the air like some of the golfers. But when it's a spinny transition, the right foot explodes off, whereas when it's been quieter and you've got over the front foot and then around, that right foot will roll in. Okay, we see it here with Padraig Harrington from this rear view, and we definitely see the same kind of look to the feet that Hunter's got in both. So both golf swings look quite similar in terms of footwork. Now, what we also find is that Hunter was practicing this in between his shots. He was practicing feeling this foot rolling over and pausing it and then coming through, making the butt of the club work around, the hands just reacting to the pivot, and the club face reacting to the pivot again. So the club would stay at 90 degrees to the arc post impact, and then as he continues to unwind around, we will see the club release. Now, we have a look at his full iron shot here, and we see how his weight's over the front foot, and we can see these feet are rolling more, not as exploded up as they used to be. And we see that this club face is fully released right here, but there's been no crossing of the arms. It's been all in reaction to the pivot, and we can see the evidence of this wide to wide drill right here in keeping the arms in sync with the body. The club ends up following the action of the body, and it's kind of slingshot around and allowed to fully be released via physics rather than manipulation. So this would be seen as a centripetal release rather than a centrifugal release of the golf club, CP or CF. We see great evidence of the tremendous footwork right here. If you see the foot rolling over, now this is very evidence of the great work he's been doing in practice, because this right foot's now reacting and rolling over. we see the butt of the club working around, not inverting back towards the camera, and the club is allowed to fully release right here via the rotation of the body, and the club exits out of the midsection of the body, which is a sign once again of the rotational manner of the golf swing. We see it here, how the club face, or the way the shaft has been released through the body, is virtually parallel to the original shaft angle, which means the golf club has been released in a very rotational manner, and it's coming out low out of the body. The left arm, or upper left arm here, is very, very connected. Once again, this can be achieved via the tremendous rotation, the left side pulling and opening. The left arm stays connected and only comes out at the end of the golf swing once the body turn has finished and there's some energy still in the club head, and this throws the club up and pulls the upper left arm away. We see here with the fairway wood how the footwork isn't quite as good as it is with the iron yet, but you will see this tremendous rotation. Heel's still coming up, but it's still quieter than it used to be with the woods. The club's working around. It is fully released right here, going around. It's freewheeling right around to the finish via the unwinding of the body. So the club is simply reacting to the unwinding and is allowed to fully release, because you are not going to see a golf club more release than this one right here. Okay, now this is a surefire way that the club has been released via physics. It's coming around here low. Okay, left wrist is free cupping here, and the arms are not crossing over. Finally, we'll have a look at two offside views of Mahan here. You see the tremendous synchronization and width in the golf swing with the elbow in front, but you also see the evidence of this left knee re-rotating towards the target, okay, which gets the weight shifted over the left side, then he unwinds around as the instep of this foot comes up and the right foot's beginning to roll over. This tells us the weight's going over the front foot and then simply around, and the feet are reacting. You'll see it just on this rear side view with the iron. Tremendous position there with the arms in front of the body. See that left knee is the way it goes. Left knee, left hip, left shoulder drags the arms down, and then the whole golf swing is going to react and go around. But you can see his left knee, the way it's settled, and then it's simply around to the finish. Hope you've all enjoyed this analysis of Hunter. I for one think he's got one of the greatest swings in the world at the moment, and I don't think it's going to be long before we see him with a major championship to his name. If you'd like to contact me, you can do at Dan Whittaker at btconnect.com, and I look forward to speaking with you all again soon.